What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in. This is Tom Hickey from 2020 Media, and you are listening to NBT Bank's On the Scene podcast, reaching over 250,000, 250,000 readers of WeHa.com, Jewish Ledger, and West Hartford Magazine, live 24/7, 365, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Today, we are joined by some special guests who have been on with us previously. We'll talk to them and introduce them in a minute. But before that, let's say hello to our co-host, Bob Carr. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Tom. How are you today?
Great, thanks.
Tom Hickey, along with myself, Kaushik Makadni, and Ryan Newton, is a founder and partner in WeHa.com. Tom brings to West Hartford the Connecticut Jewish Ledger, West Hartford Magazine, which is West Hartford's original lifestyle magazine, the various Taste of West Hartford, Best of West Hartford, which recently celebrated its 10th anniversary. Now we're looking into our 11th anniversary. We'll have to change that soon, and other fun events throughout the year. The podcast is assembled and posted by the Modern Observer Group of Middletown, Connecticut. And today our guests are Barbara Foley and Nancy Woodward from the Ron Foley Foundation. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're doing great. Good, thank you.
So now, believe it or not, Bob, I said this last time we were together with Ron Foley. We took an entire episode, and it probably could take 3 or 4 episodes to talk about the history of the Ron Foley Foundation and all the good that they do for the community. But we did take episode number 29. So I encourage everyone to please listen to episode 29, which will give you all the background and all the history of the Ron Foley Foundation and Ron's Run for the Roses, which is their big Kentucky Derby, fundraiser coming up. By the time when you listen to this, you'll still have time, right, Nancy, to buy tickets.
Yes,
and get involved. So that's great. But what we really wanted to do, we sort of left the last episode 29 recording with a lot of people saying, well, gee, what is pancreatic cancer? And how do we, know if this is something that we should be watching out for or looking out for or whatever. So we really wanted to try to spend, if we can, dedicate today's episode to more of the medical portion of pancreatic cancer. So with that said, I don't know, do you have, I'll start with you, Barbara, because you started all this.
That's right. That's right. I started it.
Yeah, after Ron took sick and unfortunately passed away. So how,
yes.
What would you say to our listeners, about pancreatic cancer?
Well, pancreatic cancer is really an extremely difficult disease, and it is the third deadliest of all of the major cancers, and it's expected to become the second deadliest by 2030. It's difficult to detect, so it is typically detected in later stages, which is one of our missions. My passion is to get all the signs and symptoms and raise awareness of the signs and symptoms and the risks of this disease so people can catch it earlier. People will know what to ask their doctors. So I don't know, would you like me to run through the symptoms and
yes,
okay.
And even as a preface to that, one of the things,
yes,
and recently I've sent a couple of emails to you. I don't want to talk about names, or anything, but this disease just, it impacts everyone. It's young people, old people, healthy people. I mean, there's one person who, just suffered from the disease, never smoked, never drank, ran marathons, every single, I mean, it was unbelievable. And you sit back and you think, how does this happen?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that was very sad. Thank you for sharing that. So first of all, the pancreas is a small gland, and it's behind the stomach. So a lot of times, if you go to the doctors and you tell them you have lower back pain, or if you have nausea or, some other similar symptoms, that might be diagnosed as IBS or something, you strained your back exercising, you have to watch that kind of thing. And I've had that happen. I had relatives that had also passed away from other relatives that also passed away from pancreatic cancer and did go through exactly that. So to be aware of the signs and symptoms, knowing that if your skin turns a little yellow, jaundicey, immediately go to your doctor. Abdominal pain and lower back pain, nausea, weight loss, extreme and sudden weight loss. Again, I've seen 4 people go through a weight loss and not being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer until it's too late. Type 2 diabetes, late onset, bloating, just this, not feeling well. Make sure you just, go the extra mile, check with your doctor. If they treat you for a stomach ailment or something like that, and it doesn't go away, be persistent. We're our own best advocates, so I think that's important. And also know your family history. Know this is just to know if you're a candidate for it. If you have a family history of pancreatic cancer. And even pancreatitis, I forgot to mention, is also another risk. It's if you have a history of pancreatitis, make sure to be very concerned about these other issues. Cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol, obesity, race and ethnicity. If you are Black, you're more inclined to get pancreatic cancer, and you are more likely to die from it, sadly to say. And that leads us to another thing that we're working on in the foundation, to raise awareness of those issues. But so the sooner that we can, or the more that we can raise awareness and get these details out to people, the better shot they have at early detection. And early detection is really the only form of cure, because it would allow you to be eligible for the Whipple procedure, which is a surgery that, it very involved surgery that would could save your life if you have pancreatic cancer.
When a listener is going to say their annual checkup, or hopefully everyone's going to one, having one, done, or whatever, but do they have to mention to the doctor, oh gee, should we check on pancreatic cancer, or is it part of a blood test series? Or I've never specifically said check for this.
No, there is no blood test. There are lots of scientists working on that, and there is no vaccine right now, but there seem to be close to something like that. But there is no one way to detect it. It really is, and I think the thing is, about 66,000 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, let's say in 2025 or 24. And about 40, I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I think it's about 51,000 will die from the disease. The mortality rate is the highest mortality rate of all the major cancers, but it's still a smaller number of people. So the ratio is terrible. And when Ron was diagnosed in 2004, the 5-year survival rate was 5%, and it is now, he was in 2004, it's now 2025, and it's about 12%. It's still the lowest 5-year survival rate of all major cancers.
And is that why you said the early detection is so important, because it gives you a better...
Exactly. And so, but what I also wanted to say is that I don't want to alarm people that I was saying that there are 66,000 people diagnosed predicted to be diagnosed this year. So it's a smaller percentage, but you just need to be an advocate. If these are persistent, To be honest with you, I watched my cousin. My cousin Joanne was, she was early 60s, and she had lost a ton of weight, and I kept saying, Joanne, are you okay? No, it's just I have IBS. I'm fine. My doctor's treating me. And then finally he sent her for a CT scan, and this was around Memorial Day weekend. She got a CAT scan, and she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she was gone Labor Day weekend. So yeah, it's just so what it is just know these symptoms, know what to look for, and then ask your doctor, is this something we should check for? Should I have an endoscopic ultrasound? Should I have an MRI or a CT scan? So that's all. I just don't want to make people crazy, but I want them to be safe.
So basically, what you're saying, like you said earlier, is it masks the disease itself is masked by all the other symptoms that you may have that are pretty irregular, like a back pain issue or
Yes.
a stomach issue or whatever. But the combination of some of these would then lead you more to believe that I got a bigger problem.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you brought it up a little bit earlier about the vaccine and about treatments, but we don't get political on this podcast. However, I've been reading about the fact that the NIH, the National Institute of Health, has had cuts and seriously affecting cancer research.
Yeah.
How is that affecting? How does it look like it'll affect pancreatic cancer research?
I'm very worried about it. I think we should be. I think it's anything to do with some of the research, and particularly the vaccines. I think the COVID vaccine and any of those, that type of medicine, I think it could impact pancreatic cancer. Yeah, it's frightening. But the other thing too, what we also try to do here is to educate people if they do have pancreatic cancer, if they are diagnosed, to look for clinical trials, to seek out help, to try something, not to wait until you're very, very, very ill, but to do that as a first choice, it's important to know what is out there. The other thing that the foundation helps with is, and I'm very proud of this, the Ron's Rescue Fund in particular, which we founded in 2012. We have that provides funds to pancreatic cancer patients in need. And I'm just going to segue to that very quickly, because it is important for people to know, if you're out there and you have been diagnosed, or of a friend or a family member, that we have funds that we grant to people with very few questions, and the paperwork is minimal. We try to keep it simple for people because they're going through a tough time, and it's just to help them through this rough spot. When you're diagnosed, you're out of work. The chemo protocols are tough and can really wipe a person out. So typically a spouse or a family member or a friend is helping get that person to treatments and bringing them home and taking care of them. And they can't work. They're losing income. The patients are losing income. So with Ron's Rescue Fund, we will help provide financial aid to patients in need. And we find that to be extremely therapeutic, I would say, because it's the one ray of sunshine they may get during all this bad news and all this ugliness. So anyway, we're very proud of that. So it's out there. It's a resource that we provide. And within that resource, we also provide tax advice, financial advice, and we're working on getting more added to our website for patients, to be a resource for patients to go to.
Well, so actually, let's mention the website. Tom usually has that question, but let's
absolutely
want to give us some contact information, which we like to pass on to everyone.
The website is ronfoleyfoundation.org, and Foley is spelled Foley. And so it's ronfoleyfoundation.org, and it's a wealth of information, both educational, but resources. And hopefully it's also a spot of hope for you, that there are people like us out there who are willing to help, and you don't have to go through this alone.
Nice.
And for anyone listening, we would love to have them join the event it's the first Saturday of May, which is the Kentucky Derby. And what should they do for tickets or sponsorship, or same thing? Go to the website.
Yes, definitely go to the website. And then when you hit the landing page, there'll be a button that you press, goes right to the event, which is Saturday, May 3rd. We'll be at the Farmington Polo Club in Farmington, Connecticut. We start at 2:30. And we end watching the live broadcast of the Kentucky Derby. It's a really wonderful event. It's our largest fundraiser of the year, so it's a really important fundraiser for us. And there'll be about 300 people or so, and there's Southern Fare, and it's a really wonderful event. And there's a live auction, a silent auction, a raise the paddle, mystery boxes. It's just a lot of fun, but it's also very impactful for us.
And may I add mint juleps? And
Of course, absolutely.
Sorry, I buried the lead.
Yeah, there better be anyway, right? That's it.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So for everyone tuning in, thank you very much. Believe it or not, we are already out of time. But we really hope to see you on Saturday, May 3rd at the Kentucky Derby. If not, or if you listen to this, and you're 2 months beyond, that date, don't worry about it. There's always another Kentucky Derby. So you can get involved for the next year. Just reach out to Nancy or to Barbara or anybody on weha.com, and we'll connect you, because we are a proud media sponsor. And my goodness, I don't know how many years we have been, but we have been for as long as I've known Barbara, I guess.
Yes.
So please do your best to get involved and to join as we've opened up this podcast session. It's amazing who's impacted and how quickly this happens. As Barbara, you just gave the example, someone found out in Memorial Day and was gone by Labor Day. I mean, it's just amazing. So let's all chip in and do what we can do by volunteering or financially by donating and getting involved with a great cause. We look forward to seeing you at the event. If not, then please reach out to Nancy and Barbara and get involved. Looking forward to seeing you next time on The Scene.
Thank you.
What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.